Hello. Do you have a professional or private activity that requires a management application? Then this presentation concerns you. This is an application that allows you to personalize the management of your data and collaboration with your collaborators. All this completely autonomously, without requiring the intervention of an IT professional. Your data remains under your control, on your own PC. Good viewing. I will present to you how the My Personal BDD application works, which is made up of two parts, client and server. Let's start with the server. First, I'll show you where you can configure the application according to your language needs and login data. You can choose from 5 languages: French, English, Dutch, Kinyarwanda, and Swahili. Next, we will log into the app to explore all the available features together. Once logged in, you will arrive at the main interface. On the left, you will find the vertical menu allowing you to load modules specific to different functionalities: groups, table, profile, as well as home. In the center of the screen, this is where the relevant information will be displayed. As an example, we will simulate the creation of a structure for managing products in stock and orders. To illustrate this, we will create tables that will contain data as well as the necessary relationships between them, for example, orders and suppliers. You can define the name of the table, then add the columns and their respective types. You can choose from 6 column types: text, long text, decimal, date, document, and link. Let's start by creating the table that will contain the list of products. Subsequently, we will create in the same way all the other tables necessary for managing our stock. Once the tables are created, you can associate them with each other. For example, in the case of orders, it is necessary to specify a supplier. You will be able to select it from a pre-established list of suppliers, thus avoiding having to manually enter information each time. To begin, to associate a table, click on the Associate to a Table button, then choose the supplier table from the list of tables. Then, you will also have to choose from the columns of the supplier table which one will be displayed in the supplier column of the order table. Now that we have created all the tables necessary for managing our inventory, we can move on to creating user groups with specific rights. For example, one group of administrators will have read, modify, and delete rights on all tables, while another group, for example, consultants, might only have read rights for certain specific tables. You can create as many groups as necessary to organize the structure according to your needs. To do this, in the vertical menu on the left, click on Groups to load the Groups Management module. Then, the Group Creation button is at the bottom of the window. This is how you can configure your own personalized database with My Personal Database. In the next part, we will explore more of the app's features. Now that the structure of our database designed to manage our product stock is in place, we will implement the management of access rights for the different users. We'll start by associating tables with the groups we created: administrator and consultant. To associate a table with a group, start by loading the Table Management module. Then, in the box on the right, click the Associate to Group button. Select the relevant group from the list of groups displayed in the pop-up window and confirm. Repeat this for each table that you want to associate with a group. Note that the same table can be associated with several groups. Once we have made this association, we will focus on user management. For our demonstration, we will create 2 profiles: a user who will be a member of the administrator group and another who will be affiliated with the consultant group. These 2 users will allow us to illustrate the importance of defining access rights. Once users are created, we will assign them to a group. In our example, Deo will be integrated into the administrator group, to which we will grant rights to read, edit, and export data. On the other hand, Lopez Alexander will be a member of the consulting group, with only reading rights. Commands for assigning users to one or more groups, as well as setting their rights, are in the area on the right. Now everything is ready for use. These users can access their account with their password and username through the client application, allowing them to view and modify the data. You will notice that the Home button displays the Reception Management module, providing a summary of the data as well as information about groups, tables, and members. Now that we have explored how the server part works, let's tackle the client part. There is also a section dedicated to languages, as well as server connection settings. It should be noted that the client application can be hosted on the same machine as the server or possibly on another remote machine. The connection will be made using the connection parameters configured at the server level. Remember that we created a user who was part of the administrator group. Let's start by testing with its credentials to check if its access rights have been correctly defined. The user of the client application, being part of the administrator group to which all rights have been granted, thus has access to all tables and can perform actions such as modifying, deleting, and exporting data. When logging in, you will notice that the left side displays a list of available groups. If you have multiple groups, they will all be displayed. By clicking on a group, the tables associated with that group will be displayed. Then, by clicking on a table, the data from it will be displayed in the area on the right, which also has a search function. If the data seems out of date, use the refresh button in the top horizontal menu, which is crucial. We have therefore made an entry for a table which does not have columns linked to another table. This is a classic entry, similar to that of a spreadsheet like Excel. Now let's check to see if the supplier column is linked to the suppliers table. In the same way, let's add a row in the orders table. Here you will notice that the supplier field does not contain a drop-down list, because the suppliers table is empty. Now let's add a supplier in the suppliers table. You will then see that the supplier column of the orders table now displays a drop-down list, with only one supplier listed. Let's add a second supplier for those of you who are still in doubt. That's it, the two suppliers are now present in the drop-down list of the supplier field of the orders table. Don't forget to refresh if this is not the case. Don't forget as an administrator to remind your users that they must change their initial password. When creating a profile, the system generates a default password, but it is up to the user to change it later. We'll come back later to explore the export feature. Now let's look at Lopez's access rights versus Deo's. Lopez is part of the consulting group, which only has read-only access. For the reminder, it cannot add, modify, delete, or export the data. He can only read them. This highlights the importance of thinking about the rights you grant to your users, based on your business needs. The strength of this application lies in its flexibility, allowing licensees to customize their database according to their needs. Now let's return to the server side to explore a crucial feature, data import. The table to import must be structured in the same way as that of your database which will receive this data. Let's take the example of our product table. We will import data from a file in CSV format, separated. You also need to remove the header. Let's choose the file to import. Before saving in the database, a preview is displayed for confirmation. Once confirmed, the data is imported into your database. Let's check with the preview button. On the server side, you can only view the encoded data, without the possibility of modifying it. However, you can empty or delete a table. Let's now test the export of data from the product table with the Deo account. The data is exported in CSV format, separated. However, when opening the exported file with Excel, you may notice a problem with the accents. A tip is to open the file with the Notepad app, select and copy all the contents, then paste it directly into an Excel table. Well, that's it. It is important to note that multiple client applications can connect to the server. Currently, the client application is free to download. On the other hand, the server application requires a license. Now I think we've done the trick. Do not hesitate to download the application, and I sincerely hope that it will be very useful to you.